Hey everybody, this is Ben back again, and today for this video, I'm going to now make a video which is different than, all my other videos because I decided to shake things up a bit. So, how it has before in the past. So anyways, for this video, I'm going to now make a video where it's going to be kind of like a history video, almost like a logo history, but except this video is going to be on like warning screens because I decided to make a video where I'm going to show you guys the all of the different FBI warning screens plus the additional warning screens that Disney had used on all their videotapes from back like on VHS, Betamax, and DVD, and plus Blu-ray and even 4K. So we're going to be going from 1980, from when they first started out during the VHS and Beta days, the Betamax days, and then going all the way through when DVD started to come about, plus Laserdisc. Well, Laserdisc was already a thing by the time the 80s arrived. And also even when Disney began founding like new labels like Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures, and then of course Miramax and Dimension, when they got bought by Disney at the time, they started to become a part of that unit, so they started to share the same, stuff that Disney had used, like in terms of the bumpers and the warnings and stuff. So either way, let's go ahead and get right into this. We're gonna start from 1980 to 2025. So let's go ahead and get right into this, and hope you guys enjoy of going from past to present of all the different warnings that Disney had used. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the very first warning screen, or FBI warning screen, that Disney had used on their tapes, both VHS and Betamax, from the early 1980s, from 1980 up until 1983, I believe. So for this warning screen, well, at least for the FBI warning screen, which you're looking at right here, you can see the background is all blue, and then the warning lettering up above the warning information with the, federal law provides severe civil and criminal penalties and other stuff. And then on the left there, you can see the black rectangle that has the big FBI text and plus the white FBI seal. So yep. And then now for this warning screen, this is the second warning screen, which does not say FBI or anything else. It just mentions license for private home exhibition only. Any public performance, copying, or other use is strictly prohibited. All other rights reserved. So, therefore, that is the very first warning screen. And then also, the earlier tapes from back then, before the FBI warning phase in, there would be a screen that would say like for sale only, not intended for rental, or vice versa, because back then Disney had, the no sale policy for like what films were available for sale and what films were available for rental up until they dropped that policy, and same with several other studios from back in those days. They lifted that policy. So now, up until today with digital stuff, when the for sale and rental thing policy began to get lifted. Okay, and then here is the actual animation of how the tape actually goes, like the fade in and fade out effects that plays at the very beginning of the tapes. There is the for sale only, not intended for rental screen that we just looked at. And then here is the FBI warning screen itself, and then the license for private home exhibition only screen that comes up next. These would all these tapes that have these warnings that are, at the very beginning of the tapes obviously would precede the logo of the company that distributed the tape, whether it's like Walt Disney Home Video or later Home Entertainment or Touchstone, Hollywood Pictures, and other stuff. So there is the very first warning screen that Disney had used on their tapes. Then in 1983, Disney would update the warning. This time, it's now, the FBI warning screen is now on a red background, and it still has the FBI lettering plus the seal in the black rectangle, but this time, next to it, the warning and the information is now in a white square, and it is now over the red background. However, the license for private home exhibition only screen would stay the same. after the red FBI warning screen appears. I'll show you what that looks like right now. Now here is what the 1983 FBI warnings play on the tapes. There you can see how it starts with how it always starts with the FBI warning at the beginning after the black screen. But this time it's now with the license for private home exhibition only screen that was used prior. See, there's anything different about this screen. It's just the first, the FBI warning screen is what's different. Then a year later, 1984, they changed the warnings yet again, but this time, the FBI warning screen that you're seeing here, it's now on a white background, and the FBI text plus the seal is now on a long red-orange rectangle that takes up the first half of the screen. And then now we go into the license for private home exhibition only screen, which is now on the red-orange background, and the text is in white. There also have been different variations of this where they're in a completely different font, but I'm not going to show them here. I'm just going to only show these ones. And then for the tapes that were released in Canada, they're only, because the FBI doesn't exist in Canada, they only just needed to show the licensed private home exhibition only screen and the duplication whole and part of this video cassette is prohibited screen. And of course, it would be like that for future Disney warnings up until, like, probably maybe 2005, maybe. So there you go for the 84 screen. Then here is how the FBI warning screens are played on the tapes with the, the fade in, fade out effects. I think some of the Disney Classics tapes, they have, I think there was a variation where the FBI warnings, like they don't have the fade out and fade in effects. They just have they just cut to one another. Kind of interesting, but that was how they decided to do it. Then shortly after Disney debuted the 84 screens, they would still keep the 84 ones intact, however, like on their majority of their tapes, but during that same time, they would introduce these screens, which would also become the more familiar screens that Disney would later use during, like, different variations of them during the 90s and also the first half of the 2000s, where, as you can see, the FBI text and the seal are in red against a big white square, which the first half of it is in white, and then the second half is not filled with white. It just has the warning information. And then the next screen, it just has the text kind of similar to the other one, but except it kind of takes up most of the screen, and plus it's in a completely different font, and then the background is in like a dark red. So that's basically a look at that one. Now here is the animation that is actually played on the tape. This time there is no fade out and fade in effects in between the FBI and the license for private home exhibition only screen. See, there's no fade out and fade in effects. Just go straight to one another before the second screen fades out. Then in the early 90s, in 1991 to be exact, Disney would change their warnings yet again. Buena Vista as well. But this time, it would be kind of like similar to the one we just looked at, the red FBI screens, the dark red ones. But this time, now the background is green. And then the FBI text, as you can see, it looks a little bit bigger and bolder. And then the text, the warning information and the warning text is in Gill Sans. And then the licensed private home exhibition only screen is in a completely different font. And plus there's shadows behind the text. Same goes with the FBI warning screen itself. And then here is the duplication whole and part of this video is cassette is prohibited screen, which again, only the Disney tapes in Canada use that. And so that too is quite different. Just like how they would, do it with all their other tapes that were released in Canada. All right, now here comes the animation that is played on the tapes, plus the laser discs. How, as you can see, it has a much more slower fade in and fade out with both screens. I bet you guys are pretty nostalgic watching this. For any Disney fans who were born in the 80s and 90s will definitely most likely remember these. Watching movies and plus programs and other stuff like on video cassette. So that is it for that one. Then in the late 90s, Disney would change their warnings yet again, but this time it would be similar to the other one, except this time the warning and the federal law provides in the criminal copyright infringement text is in a different font, and also the FBI text is a little bit different, plus the seal. And then also the screens here would also be different as well. This time, there would be two separate screens. One, because DVD was starting to come along, they would make two separate screens, one for VHS tapes and one for DVDs. Where the only difference is that it says this video cassette is for private home viewing only, and the next screen for DVDs, it would just say DVD instead of video cassette. And of course, these are the duplication home part of this video cassette is prohibited and DVD is prohibited screens that they used on their VHS tapes and DVDs. Which the interesting thing is that the duplication DVD thing was used on Region 1 Disney DVDs plus Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures and Dimension and Miramax DVDs. So yeah, they used them both in America and Canada. Then now here is the animation that is on the played on the tapes. This time it has a much more faster fade in compared to the other one. This is the VHS version. See where it says this video cassette is for private home viewing only. And then now what we're going to get into is the DVD version. These are how the late 90s Disney DVDs plus Touchstone Hollywood Pictures DVDs were played, plus Miramax and Dimension. There was no fade in, fade out effects at all. And now it just says this DVD is for private home viewing only. This would also be like this for the blue FBI screens, which I'm going to get to next. And then there's the duplication home part of this DVD's prohibited screen, which obviously Canadian tapes and DVDs use these, but they use them in America for some reason. Then in 2000, they would change the warnings yet again, in a similar way, but this time the background is now navy blue, and the warning and other stuff are in a different text. And the second screen is also different too. This time, the text is now all in lowercase, and the duplication home part of this video cassette or DVD is now all in one screen, and there's no separate screen anymore. So this is the VHS version. Now here's the DVD version. So there you go for this one. Then in 2003 up until 2005, so total of 2 years, or a year and a half maybe, the FBI warning screen would remain the same, but except this time the second screen, which is right here, which was originally the private home viewing only screen, it would be completely different. It now provides more detailed information, and so that would be used up until 2005 when they switched over to the FBI anti-piracy warning screen. Oh, well, the FBI warning screen, that is. This screen, it would remain shockingly up until 2020, up until Disney decided to retire that warning screen for good. But the FBI anti-piracy warning screen and the different variations of it would stay the same over the years. Then now here is the animation of that blue FBI warning screens that's played on the tapes. Has a much more faster fade in, and this time they don't last very long compared to the other ones we looked at. So this here is the original VHS version. Then here is the updated 2003 to 2005 version. And then now here is the DVD version. This time these screens last longer than the ones in the tapes, and there's no fade in, fade out effects. They just cut to one another. And there it says this DVD is for private home viewing only, much like the green warnings. So that is a look at that one. The original 2000 to 2003 blue FBI warning screens. Then here is the 2003 to 2005 version. See, it has the same exact warnings, but this time, the second screen is different. As you can see, now you know the differences between that one, the original one, and then the 2003 to 2005 updated one. Then in 2005 and onwards, Disney would permanently drop the blue FBI warning screen and replace it with the familiar FBI anti-piracy warning screen that other studios had put on all their DVDs and Blu-rays from around the time. And the blue warning screen, however, like I said, with this product including its soundtrack is authorized for private home viewing only, or private use only, that screen would remain the same, but except it's now paired with the FBI anti-piracy warning screen. Then now this is the animation of how the warnings are played on the DVD. See, the blue warning screen remains the same, but now it's paired with the FBI anti-piracy warning screen. And then later, they would now, and then in 2007, they would include this screen, which is the commentary and interviews on the disc or for entertainment purposes only screen, but the FBI anti-piracy and blue warning screens remain the same. See, this is the commentaries and interviews screen that we had just passed. What was in between the warning and the FBI anti-piracy one. And then, in 2013, they would drop the FBI anti-piracy warning screen and replace it with this screen with the Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent screen. And then finally, around 2020, Disney got rid of the blue warning screen and replaced it with just this warning screen with warning in the red text and then plus the information. However, though, the commentaries and interview screen and FBI anti-piracy warning and special Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent screens would remain the same, and that is like that to this day here in 2025. So with that is the history of Walt Disney Home Video or Home Entertainment plus Touchstone Hollywood Pictures and Miramax Dimension, and also Buena Vista Home Video and Home Entertainment and Jim Henson Video, and plus also and even today with 20th Century Studios plus Marvel and Lucasfilm even. That is the history of Buena Vista's warnings from 1980 to 2025. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe I might plan to make more of these, maybe with logos maybe in the future. I'm not too sure at the moment, but this is something that I've been trying and thinking about as of lately. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you again soon.